According to Worthington, hard-boiled typically refers to being tough and powerful and as well as having a hard head, and is mainly associated with Americans. The manly, strong, tough, and shrewd guy can endure terrible situations and is sometimes referred to as the hard-boiled character, generally the primary protagonist investigator. One may simply say that hard-boiled is an American version of the pre-existing crime fiction in the United Kingdom, for example, Sherlock Holmes. Hard-boiled detective fiction first appeared in the publications in the 1920s, intended for a male audience, with one of the most successful titles being featured in black mass magazines. During the golden period of the hard-boiled subgenre, the crimes were more realistic than those of Sherlock Holmes, and they were quote-unquote hard-hitting. The detective, on the other hand, was always a guy, and he would investigate crime and corruption in America from the 1920s through the 1930s, dealing with real concerns such as gangsters and corrupt officials. Example, a character similar to James Fenimore Cooper's Natty Bum, who possessed a strong sense of justice and morality, was physically and psychologically formidable and was known as quote-unquote the man. In both the UK and the United States, the city's location is important in hard-boiled crime fiction. Earlier crime novels oddly glorify criminality, but in later hard-boiled novels, the investigator tends to solve the case as an outsider and spectator, much like the reader. The investigator was a man who lived by a strict code of honor. The social chaos, crime, and brutality and tension of the times are often depicted in the hard-boiled subgenre. In hard-boiled fiction, the female protagonist is a femme fatale, sexual, emotional, and viewed as a harmful influence. One of the greatest examples of the popular hard-boiled genre is Chandler's The Big Slate. Philip Marlowe, the protagonist, is a strong, hard-working investigator who appears to be resistant to the plot. We meet the victim's father, the general, at the outset of the narrative, who has asked our detective to find out more about the man who has indecent images of his daughter. His daughter, Carmen, is introduced to us as the victim, but as the tale unfolds, spoilers, we learn that the genuine culprit is, surprise, surprise, Carmen. She plays the femme fatale in this story, a wicked lady who manipulates and has a warped mentality. Furthermore, as Worthington explains, the traditional hard-boiled main character is emotionally and sexually disconnected, as seen by Marlowe's indifference to Carmen's attraction when they meet in the mansion. This enraged the femme fatale even more, motivating her to cause further harm to those around her. Marlowe has a habit of speaking directly to the character about incidents that he witnessed firsthand. In a few lines, Chandler creates a scenario and develops a tone revealing parts of Marlowe's characters in his interaction with others in the story. As said by Worthington, Chandler conjures a scene and sets a mood seemingly effortlessly in a few words, revealing aspects of Marlowe's character in his interaction with others in the narrative. The source of the real crime is always a female. A further strong of recurring trope is that the quest and the knightly figure who undertakes it. The association is made clear in the opening of The Big Sleep, where a stained glass window in the Sternwood house shows a knight attempting to rescue a maiden in distress. There is a further reference to the knight in a game of chess. The hard-boiled subgenre remained popular following the Golden Period, but it took new turns as more female authors followed suit and imitated their male counterparts. Later, female writers inspired by politics took aim at the masculine hard-boiled detective. The stories stick to the original premise and hard-boiled idea while maintaining realism. This demonstrates that women, whether in the form of a female writer or fictionist female eye, can flourish in this predominantly male-gendered creative world. Sarah Paretsky was a well-known female writer from the early 1980s. Female investigators, such as our heroine from The Monkey's Mask, were also studied in the 1990s. This is owing to the support of female authors from the Golden Period, such as Kate Pensler, who created the character Amanda Cross, as Worthington points out to us. Returning to The Monkey's Mask detective, Jill Fitzpatrick is a lesbian, and unlike the usual hard-boiled male Philip Marlowe, she is not sexually unattached, as seen by her attraction to Diana and subsequent intercourse with her. Mickey's parents inform Jill that Mickey's body has been discovered. They want Jill to keep looking into it because the cops are no help. Jill continues to work, but her attention is diverted by her romance with Diana. Later, Jill meets Diana's husband Nick, and additional details are revealed. Surprised again, they start having sex when he flirts with her. He places his hands on her throat and she inquires whether he was the one who killed Nikki. He admits to her that he did, and that Diana was present. It was a sex game gone terribly wrong. Jill goes to the cop with her proof. She meets Diana, who warns her that they would sue her if she told anybody what she knows. Meanwhile, the cops examine the evidence and listen to an audio recording of Nick admitting that Jill made it. To conclude, it shows that with time, investigator novels are actually human and not always perfect like hard-boiled men from the past, and that they are not indestructible, can be of any gender, and have emotions.